Have you ever wondered why, around the age of 70, so many men find it difficult to live much longer? It is a serious question that merits careful consideration. Although women often outlast males by a number of years, there are other factors at play as well. They are also connected to the choices, habits, and way of life that men maintain over the years. This movie will reveal 5 valid reasons why the majority of older men do not live to be 70 years old. Although many individuals would rather not discuss these facts, they clearly show why males are at such a heightened danger as they age. You can take steps to safeguard yourself or the guys you care about, and possibly prolong your life by being aware of these causes. Keep reading, because what you learn here might not only help you understand why so many men's lives are cut short, but it might also provide you with useful advice on how to alter your own tale. Let's get going now. First, heart disease turns into the silent killer. The increasing risk of heart disease is one of the main factors preventing older men from living well past the age of 70. Many men develop lifelong habits that subtly harm their cardiovascular health. Smoking, eating poorly, not exercising, or experiencing a lot of stress. In their 40s or 50s, these behaviors might not have a significant impact, but by the time they are 70 years old, the heart has been under stress for decades. Because they appear robust, many men psychologically underestimate this risk. A guy may convince himself that he is healthy if he can climb stairs without feeling tired. But in reality, heart weakness and artery narrowing can occur without any outward signs. This delusion of security frequently postpones health examinations that could have identified issues sooner. Take the case of Frank, a 78-year-old man who thought his years of hard labor in construction had made him resilient enough to withstand health issues. For months, he disregarded chest pain until he passed out one day while cutting the grass. His arteries had been badly obstructed for years, according to the doctor's findings. Frank lived, but it took him a long time to recover. He also acknowledged that the experience might have been avoided with routine examinations. Genetics is not the only factor in heart disease. It also involves decisions. The odds are stacked against men who consume a lot of processed foods, have excess weight around their waist, or never incorporate exercise into their daily routine. Stress is also a significant factor. Years of pressure to support the family, excel at work, or suppress feelings can result in high blood pressure, which further harms the heart. The grim reality is that the body's capacity for forgiveness diminishes after the age of 70. You are now directly threatened by what you were able to get away with in midlife. But there is still hope. Men can significantly increase their chances by implementing even minor adjustments, like as regular screenings, balanced meals, or vigorous walking. Adopting new behaviors can safeguard the years to come, but harboring resentment towards the past won't help. Second, neglecting mental health has serious consequences. Another significant factor that makes it difficult for many elderly men to live long lives. Neglecting mental health is number 70. Men have been taught for generations to persevere, to hide their emotions, and to keep going at any costs. This mindset may seem strong when one is younger, but as one ages, it becomes a burden. The prevalence of depression, anxiety, and loneliness among older men is much higher than most people think, and it directly affects longevity and physical health. Unspoken psychological challenges frequently manifest in subtle ways. A man can stop participating in family events, spend a lot of time alone in front of the TV, or lose interest in past pastimes. These trends go beyond simple changes in personality. They are indicators that mental health is deteriorating. If left untreated, they impair immunity, elevate the risk of heart disease, and increase the chance of dying young. Consider George, a 75-year-old widower who gradually stopped going out to coffee with his friends following the death of his wife. Though they thought he was just getting older, his kids observed that he seemed quieter. In reality, George was suffering from mild depression and extreme loneliness. His health started to decline in the absence of assistance. He didn't begin to heal physically or emotionally until his daughter urged him to join a local men's club. The ugly truth is that loneliness can have just as negative an impact as obesity or smoking. However, a lot of men are unwilling to admit it because they think discussing their feelings weakens them. The quiet turns lethal. Emotional isolation speeds up the body's deterioration, increases stress hormones, and interferes with sleep. Breaking that silence holds the key to hope. Men can relieve the mental burden that has accumulated over decades by learning to open up to a counselor, family member, or trusted friend. Rekindling a feeling of purpose can be achieved through volunteering in the community, taking up hobbies, and maintaining social engagement. One of the most effective strategies to prolong life after 70 is to address mental health, as a healthy mind supports a healthy body. Please let me know in the second remark below if you're still watching this video and finding these ideas helpful. To ensure you don't miss any videos, I advise you to subscribe and turn on the bell if you haven't already. We can keep producing high-quality content to educate and uplift you thanks to your support. Alright, let's proceed. Third, bad lifestyle choices catch up. Decades of bad living choices finally catch up with older men, which is one of the most obvious reasons why they frequently do not live past the age of 70. Many guys become used to decisions that seem innocuous. Currently, excessive drinking, smoking, not exercising, or consuming diets high in processed foods, sugar, and salt. The body fights back for years, making up for the harm. However, the body's resiliency is significantly reduced by the time men reach their 70s, and the consequences of their decisions become brutally obvious. In terms of psychology, habits are formed early and are frequently thought to be unchangeable. A man in his 70s who has smoked since his 20s may feel that it is too late to give it up. A man who has always been fond of fatty foods might persuade himself that nothing would change. This kind of thinking is risky because in practice, even minor adjustments can prolong life and enhance quality. However, a lot of guys continue to follow their old habits even when they are subtly harming their health. Consider the case of Samuel, a 73-year-old man who had been consuming fried meals and sugar-sweetened beverages consistently. He felt good for decades and didn't see the need to alter. However, as he became 70, his vitality declined, his blood pressure soared, and his joints began to ache all the time. He was told by doctors that he had little chance of living to be 80 unless he modified his behaviors. Samuel's health started to improve when he eventually made the switch to lighter meals and daily walks, demonstrating that even last-minute changes can have an impact. In actuality, the human body logs every decision we make. Men eventually develop a brittle foundation as a result of years of pushing boundaries, working long hours, skipping sleep, ignoring vegetables, and depending on temporary solutions. In addition to age, years of unregulated habits contribute to the prevalence of diseases like diabetes, cancer, and respiratory illnesses. The good news about this fact is that habits are not permanent. Men can live longer and more vibrant lives if they learn to consume a balanced diet, limit their use of dangerous drugs, and maintain some level of physical activity. Simple actions like stretching, walking, or switching from heavy to lighter meals are survival strategies. Every good decision, regardless of how late it starts, is rewarded by the body. Refusing routine medical care is number 4. The failure to seek routine medical treatment is another factor contributing to the low life expectancy of many men over 70. Men have been taught for decades to stay away from doctors unless they are absolutely required. They frequently take great satisfaction in persevering through hardship, ignoring pain or discomfort as something that would eventually go away. However, this avoidance behavior lets silent killers like diabetes, cancer, and high blood pressure worsen unchecked until it's too late. Psychologically, a lot of guys think that going to the doctor is a sign of weakness. They detest feeling vulnerable or are afraid of receiving unpleasant news. When you were younger, when your body could bounce back from stress faster, this resistance might have felt bearable. However, if ignored, even minor health problems can develop into potentially fatal illnesses by the age of 70. One of the most harmful myths older men tell themselves is that they are fine. Take Richard, 79, for example, who denied having stomach pain for more than a year. He convinced himself it was only indigestion since he was afraid of the diagnosis. The cancer had progressed too far for therapeutic treatment by the time he eventually visited a physician. A dismal reality is reflected in Richard's story. Early problems are frequently manageable, but neglected problems frequently result in death. This is not just an emergency situation. The goal of preventive treatment, screenings, blood testing, and checkups is to identify warning symptoms before they develop into emergencies. Men who fail to show up for these appointments lose out on the opportunity to make little, doable changes that could extend their lives by years. The ugly truth is that skipping medical care is a risky move, rather than a show of courage. Fathers, grandfathers, and husbands who shun doctors may think they are preserving their dignity, but in reality, they are frequently reducing the amount of time they spend with their loved ones. Life-saving information can be discovered at a single medical visit. The good news is that you can break this behavior at any time. Men offer themselves the best chance at longevity when they make a commitment to routine exams, pay attention to their health, and take prompt action when symptoms appear. Asking for help is not a sign of weakness, it's wisdom. Ignoring one's health might lead to resentment, but defending one's life is a sign of love for one's family. Please let me know in the fourth comment below if you're still viewing this video and finding these ideas helpful. To ensure you don't miss any videos, I advise you to subscribe and turn on the bell if you haven't already. We can keep producing high-quality content to educate and uplift you thanks to your support. Alright, let's proceed. The fifth is the loss of social connection and purpose. The loss of purpose and social connections is the last factor contributing to many men's struggles to survive past 70. Men may feel lost after retiring, losing friends, or becoming less involved in the community. Life starts to feel meaningless when there are no significant relationships or activities. There are actual physical and mental repercussions to this emptiness. Because research regularly demonstrates that psychological isolation reduces longevity, men tend to associate their identities with their jobs or roles as carers. They might not know how to reinvent themselves once those roles go. A man who used to feel powerful and helpful can suddenly feel unimportant. Depressive symptoms, bad behaviors, or even a silent acceptance of decline might result from this sense of purposelessness. While women typically keep up their social networks into old age, many males let theirs dwindle, which exacerbates the loneliness cycle. Consider the case of Leonard, a 74-year-old who retired following 40 years of devoted service. He liked to watch television and sleep in at first. However, he acknowledged that after a year, he felt like a shell of the person he used to be. His health started to deteriorate since he had no co-workers to confide in or tasks to finish. His vitality and sense of purpose returned only after he joined a community garden in his area. This fact shows that it's not just about the body to survive. It has to do with the spirit. Men who continue to participate in hobbies, family life, or volunteer work tend to flourish, but those who lose interest in the world around them tend to deteriorate more quickly. Social interaction improves the immune system, lowers stress, and fortifies the mind. The uplifting message is that there is always something to be grateful for. These deeds give life purpose, whether it's volunteering, teaching a younger person, mentoring, or just spending time with family. Men who maintain their social networks and make the decision to continue being helpful to others frequently live longer and in better health. Clinging to the past is not the path to longevity. It's about finding fresh motivation to keep going, even as life reaches its later stages. Last words. Take a moment to consider the 5 actual reasons why so many men find it difficult to survive past the age of 70 as we wrap up this video. What most affected you? The loss of purpose, the weight of bad habits, the avoidance of medical care, the silent threat of heart disease, or the disregard for mental health? Each one narrates a story of awareness and choices that can alter a person's life's trajectory rather than one of inevitable outcomes. Life expectancy is not solely determined by genetics or luck. It involves being aware of the daily trends that either strengthen or weaken it. The body finally yields when persons disregard their hearts, thoughts, habits, health, or sense of purpose. However, men who make the decision to participate, take care of themselves, and maintain relationships frequently find that life after 70 may be vibrant and meaningful. Let these facts be more than just words if you're listening. Let them serve as an exhortation. You can secure your future by making decisions today, regardless of your age. A vigorous stroll, an insightful discussion, a visit to the doctor, or a new pastime. Years of life and love that could otherwise be lost are added up by all of these actions. We appreciate you being here with us today. We would be delighted to hear from you. Tell us about one lesson you learnt today and how you intend to apply it in your life in the comments section below. We value your opinions, so please feel free to express them. We are greatly inspired and encouraged by reading your remarks. Please like, subscribe, and share this video if you found it entertaining and useful. We can keep producing high-quality content to educate and uplift you thanks to your support. We appreciate your time and hope to see you in the upcoming video.